Hello and welcome to another special edition of Video Games to the Max. We promised you after the last Game Awards episode that we would do a most anticipated games of 2025, and we're here on this Monday doing so as we're basically one sleep away from actually being in 2025.
Yeah.
So there you go. So basically, we're just gonna do our top 10 most anticipated games. I'll kind of like go over Randy's as well. He couldn't be here. And then we'll also talk about the two elephants in the room, which are when is the Nintendo Switch successor actually going to come out? We're going to give a guess on a release date and some launch games. And then also, will Grand Theft Auto 6 actually come out this year? That's a question, at least I think we're going to be in for a rude awakening for everybody that's waiting for it to come out this year. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll get into all those things and more right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and start with the question stuff first. That way we can just roll out the games here.
Sure.
Let's do the Nintendo Switch 2 because that's obviously, unless Nintendo knows something that, or going back on what they said themselves, they're pretty much, we're waiting. We're sitting here. They're saying that before we get to March 31st, 2024 or 2025, we're going to get some kind of reveal for Switch 2. Now, I mean, obviously that could just be a trailer, like the first Switch, and that's it. And then they make us wait longer. Or it could be by the time we get there, we already have everything and we're just waiting for those pre-order dates. Or the pre-orders could happen even before then. You know, there's rumors going around that as soon as January, we're going to hear something. So let's see. They do have a couple months to make us wait if they want. But usually by the time we get to the end of January, mid-February, we already have a direct. So you would imagine that by then we get the first reveal. But what do you think the name is going to be? And when do you think it actually releases? Give me an actual date.
I would say, let's see here. Let's see. Dun. I mean, it'll be November, I think. Probably
November? Okay.
November 11th, maybe November 18th.
All right. So you and Randy are in the same thought process that we're going to wait that long to get the actual release date.
I mean, even if they're building the things now or have them in a warehouse, like they're going to want at least, 5 million, 10 million of these things to be sitting on, sitting somewhere. So when it does come out, it won't immediately sell out, or it will, but like most people will be able to get one. It's not going to be like the PS5 or Xbox where they had like 4 available and that was it.
Yeah, Randy gave me a release date of November 21st, 2025, which would be 25 years to the date of the release of the Super Famicom, which would be a cool kind of anniversary if that happens. I think it's coming out earlier. I don't think it's going to come out as early as the original Switch did, but I do think that if you come out in the summer, it allows you to have that sellout, and then you keep building and building, and then when you come to the holiday season, you have that second stock ready for people to buy it during the holidays instead of, oh, it all sells out and then it's gone. That's it. There's nothing. And even though I think that they've been producing these for a while, I don't think we're going to have the stock shortage that we had with PS5 and Xbox because of the chip shortage, all that stuff. I don't think it's going to be as easy to get, let's say like PS5 Pro either. But I don't think we're going to see the Wii type stuff either, where we're going to have shortages for 6 months or whatever. But I think the best way to prevent that is if you come out in the summer, which they have done before. Nintendo 64 came out June 23rd, and that's why I think it's going to come out June 19th, 2025. They love to release their games seemingly on a Thursday, so why not release your consoles on your console on a Thursday as well to kind of keep on with the trend. That's my thought on it. I think it's going to be called just simply the Switch 2, because I think just to avoid anything with what happened to the Wii U, and it's normal naming convention. Xbox can be weird and all that stuff.
It's a normal naming convention that they've never done before. So
but it doesn't mean that they can't do it. It doesn't mean they can't do it, right? Just because they haven't done it. I think I was watching something today. I think Spawnway brought up a good point that people keep forgetting. One of the reasons, aside from Wii U and Wii just kind of being weird names with each other, is that the Wii was on a downtrend when the Wii U came out. So people were kind of tired of the Wii by the time it came out. So they're like, oh, Wii U, oh, it's kind of the same thing. All right, do I really need this? Whereas Switch is still selling like crazy. People are still buying the games. You tell somebody that a Switch 2 is coming and you can play all your Switch 1 games. I think that makes it so much easier to understand for people, and you immediately get it. Okay, anything that comes out on Switch 2, I know I'm buying it on that thing, and that's it. But what do you think it's going to be called?
I had a few dumb names. Super Switch.
That'd be kind of funny. That's Randy's name as well. Super Switch.
Nintendo Shift.
Okay, that would be interesting to just go from Switch to Shift.
Nintendo Swerve. Or the Switch Pro.
Switch Pro. You think they really would do the Switch Pro after all that?
They did the Switch Pro. Be like,
okay.
No. Or the Switch Principal with an LP. Or some other name. I mean, screw it. Like they've never done a conventional naming, even in like sequels before. Like the only one I can think of is like Mario World to Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and
Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2.
But it's so like infrequent. Like, so I mean, at this point, it'd be like what, the Legend of Zelda 14 or something. Maybe it's like Final Fantasy numbers at this point.
Well, I mean, I think the games make more sense not to do that. Whereas like a system that you're gonna have for, say, 6 or 7 or 8 years, I mean, that kind of makes more sense.
Hopefully, yeah. And as far as I actually came up with 3 potential games coming out for this thing. They got to launch with Mario Odyssey 2 or whatever Mario 3D game they're cooking up. That's one. Mario Kart 9, because again, they can't be coasting on a 10-year-old, 11-year-old Mario Kart game at this point. And I honestly don't think that Metroid Prime 4 is hitting the Switch. Or if it does, it'll be like severely not great. So I see that as like a launch, like a quick and easy launch title. Like, hey, this is the version that actually functions correctly or doesn't run at 14 frames a second.
Yeah. We are all in agreement on that. Just to no point in just sitting there saying we're all going to have different game titles.
Oh, also Ice Climbers HD.
Yeah, for sure. Randy and I also had, I think, Mario Kart 9, and then later, before the year ends, you're gonna get your Super Mario 3D game. I don't think as cool as it would be that the Mario is the 3D Mario is the launch game, just to kind of like do the similar thing like the 64 and the other Mario, let's say the NES and SNES or whatever. I don't think they'll do that. I think they know that they can have Mario later on. It doesn't need to launch with Mario. Mario Kart, though,
worked well for the GameCube.
All right. Well, but I mean, the Switch didn't launch with Mario, and it was fine, right? I think Mario Kart 8 proved that it was the system seller. So why not have it launch with Mario Kart 9 and start out that way? Do you think there's a chance that if that were to happen, it's too much Mario Kart and people kind of don't care as much, or it won't matter?
It won't matter. It'll come out as Mario Kart 9 and everyone will buy it. I mean, look at that's the number one selling Mario Kart 8 is the number one selling game on the Switch. So
Yeah, Randy says that something that I think a lot of people were hoping would come out instead of like, let's say that championship edition game that came out last year, a SNES remix type game. He's saying is another one, and obviously Metro Prime 4, which we already know is going to come at some point this year. But I think that's without a doubt that is a launch game for the Switch 2, and
like I said, like last week or whenever we did this, like a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like a double pack of improved games.
Yeah, I could see that too. Especially Breath of the Wild, you do an HD version of that, or a Super HD version with it can have 4K and all that stuff. Sure. I'm gonna throw out, just because they've been doing a lot of it recently. Whether it's a remake of the GameCube game or a new one, why not F-Zero? They've been doing a lot of F-Zero lately. They made sure that all the F-Zero games are on the Switch Online thing, except for the GameCube one, for obvious reasons. And they did the same thing with Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong has a new Donkey Kong Country Returns coming at the beginning of the year. So
I mean, it's the same tired excuse they keep saying about F-Zero, though. Is like they want it to be something new. It's like it's not.
I mean, how do we know they don't have something new now? And they just been baiting us to make us not think they'll make one, and then surprise us when you get the Switch 2.
This is the F-Zero game with Star Fox characters.
I mean, why not? I don't think we're gonna get a new Star Fox anytime soon.
Right?
Maybe they'll surprise us with that too. I don't. I just think that there's got to be some game that hasn't had an IP that, if not on launch day, is for sure coming in this like launch window.
Kid Icarus. It's coming back again, and not a shitty version. So,
sure.
Or they make a Captain N game, and they just have a whole bunch of other. It'll be like Smash Brothers, except like a platformer or something.
Well, Sakurai's announced that he's been making a game since 2022. If it's not the next Smash Brothers, which I don't know, the way that dude always says he's so tired when he's doing a Smash Brothers game, I kind of hope for him it's something different, but who knows? Right?
Yeah.
But moving on to that, because there's still a lot of, and I don't think there's going to be any gimmicks with that system. I think it really is just going to be.
I mean, the only gimmick I've heard, it has like an extra button.
But that could be anything, and I don't know what they're really going to do with the.
The only thing I really want out of this thing is like I still hate the Joy-Con ergonomics. The one of them is like the buttons are too far in, and the other one, like the Joy-Con, or the actual analog stick, is like in the middle of the goddamn controller. And it's like, this is like, who built this? Or
right, yeah. I mean, and they're so tight. If you got to hold it horizontal, it is so tiny.
Yeah,
it is so tiny to hold, and you can kind of get in your way. And then one of them, it feels okay, but like I don't know if it's the right or the left one. Just feels so weird to hold.
Yeah,
period.
I think it's the left one, because that's like the one that has like the analog stick is like way, that's the right one, where the analog stick is like way inside of it. And it's like,
exactly. It's like I don't know. You have to. I'm sure for kids it's great because you have the small hands or whatever, but I mean for like adults, it's got to be.
If that's the case, release like adult versions of this controller, or like jumbo size, like the old Xbox Duke controller size or something.
Yeah, especially now that they have the supposed magnetic connection with each other.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's easier for them to do, to make them like different sizes, as opposed to like where you had to have the rails where they had to be sort of the same size. So that's, I mean, they fix a lot of, it has Bluetooth now with the OLED. It has Ethernet port. It has a better kickstand if you want to use it not in the dock or holding it. So they fixed a lot of that stuff with the OLED. So it'll be interesting to see, like, obviously, if they can actually fix the drift problem,
right?
That's their main issue, right? To avoid people having to pay the $80. And I mean, the Switch Pro controller was already great, so I don't know how they can make that controller even better. But if they do, I will probably buy one just to have one of those as well. So we'll see whether it launches in June or April or November, October, whatever, September. We'll see when that actually happens. But expect, rumors are January. Expect probably by February. We're definitely
it'll
hearing
have
something.
GTA 6 as a launch title.
Yeah, I mean, hey, weirder things have happened if that somehow can be done by Rockstar.
Yeah.
But speaking of GTA 6, it's obvious. I don't know how much of it's in your list. I didn't have it in my list because
Nope. I don't think it's coming out this year. So
I don't either. Randy has it as his number one game. But that's why I don't think it's coming out this year. I think it's going to get delayed.
It's the most anticipated game of the year, probably, but that doesn't equal it's coming out this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're doing here. Our most anticipated game. That's his most anticipated game. For me, I wouldn't care about it, but the fact that it's in Vice City and obviously set around where I live in Miami, it helps that I actually care. So
the two games not on my list, I mean, it's GTA 6 and that Intergalactic game. I don't think either of those are hitting this year.
Randy also has that on there. I was like, dude, that's not coming out. He's like, oh, I couldn't think of 10 games. I was like, you kidding me? There's like a bazillion games coming out, and if like 30 of them actually come out this year, it's gonna be ridiculous.
I kind of agree with them. Like, I actually had a hard time coming up with 10, but thankfully one just was announced last night, so that helped. But
yeah,
a lot of stuff that's announced so far doesn't particularly interest me that much, but we'll see.
Yeah, fair enough. And that, I mean, look, for everybody that's super excited for that, and obviously this goes beyond just the gamers here. This is the casual gamers. I know so many people at work that are like so excited for this game to come out that I'm sure they will be super disappointed, and I'm sure many others will be super disappointed. And gaming in general, the whole entire gaming industry will be disappointed because not only is that supposed to be a boom for the gaming industry, but also people are just sitting there waiting for them to announce this thing so they can announce their own release date. We'd probably have more release dates announced already if it wasn't because this huge albatross of Grand Theft Auto 6 is like looming for Rockstar to go, okay, no, it's definitely coming in 2025, or no, I'm sorry, but it's getting pushed back. And I guess we'll see. But that's kind of, I guess, all of our thoughts. Well, Randy kind of has a little bit more faith that it will come out, but I just really think that as soon as a lot of rumors started coming that this really could get pushed, I think that we're going to see it, especially with them having that feeling of we don't want to crunch and we don't want to get into that hoopla that happened with Red Dead 2. They're going to just avoid it at all costs. And look, they're Rockstar. They know this game is going to sell ridiculous regardless of what year it comes out. We've waited this long. People will wait another year, even if it's like 3 months into 2026. They'll wait.
Right.
So let's get on with our actual list of games here. And also, I'm going to just there's like 3 or 4 of these that are on Randy's list that I had on mine. I only kept one because I'm super, super excited about it. The other ones I kind of put it in my honorable mentions because I was like, why are we going to talk about it twice? One of those being Judas, which is the next, the first Ghost Story games, the next game from Ken Levine, obviously BioShock fame.
Right.
They've shown it a few times, so it's not like we've seen it. It's not like a one and done thing. So it does kind of feel like it's more apt to,
actually coming out, hopefully.
Randy said, hey, now I told you at least half my list probably doesn't come out. Actually, I think most of your list will come. Those are the 2 that I think probably won't. But I mean, did you have Judas on yours at all, or
nope.
Are you excited about it? Nope.
I forgot about it. So
you forgot about it. Fair enough. It was on mine until I saw it was on Randy's, and I was like, I don't think we need to talk about it twice. But the trailer for it looks great. And I hope we keep seeing more about it this year. Look, there's obviously ties to BioShock with it, with all the 3 factions you got to mess around with, and how I love the whole thing that he added in an interview where he said that there's even going to be like Lego narrative points added, where it's like, depending on exactly what you choose, you're literally going to watch the story happen in front of you, like get built in front of you, depending on the choice you make. So that's pretty cool if that actually is how that game happens. So what is your number 10 there, Mark?
They just announced it last night, but Racketeer and Item Shop's Tale HD.
All right. Explain to me what this is, because I have no idea.
You never played Racketeer? That's
No,
kind of
I did
surprising.
not.
So yeah, it's an anime game kind of where you literally own an item shop and you have to sell your stuff, your like equipment and potions and stuff to customers, but also some adventurers can come in and you can basically set up a relationship with them where you can like rent the adventurer out and travel to dungeons to get more materials and to get items, and then you have more items to sell in your shop. And you can also like research new gear or new classes of like a new helm or like new chest plates and stuff. And you can like set the prices. So you have to like you have like a big loan they have to like repay, and it comes in stages. So it's like, oh, for May you have to pay back 10,000 gold, and for June 15,000 gold. So you have to like meet these benchmarks by having prices be low, or having the shop be good looking. Yeah, it came out pretty early. I think it came out in 2005, and even then it wasn't like a graphical showpiece. And it doesn't look much different now, but if it's like a little better looking, I'll still play it. I'll give it another shot, and hopefully they add a whole bunch of new stuff into it.
That's awesome. I'm glad
Yep.
that crazy that you just saw it get announced last night. So that's cool.
Yeah, it just been out. Yeah, that's cool, but that's good because I didn't have any other things on mine. What's your turn?
All right. Really quick, I have some honorable mentions. Trails in the Sky, the first remake. Hopefully that's coming in a relatively quick fashion here in this year. Crimson Desert. I didn't want to put it in my top 10 because I'm worried that it's like got too many things going on. Like it's trying to be too many freaking different games.
Yeah.
And it may not be as good as it's getting hyped for. One game that I won't mention because it's on Randy's, Mafia: The Old Country, because it's a prequel of Mafia. So I love Mafia stuff. Just I haven't played any of the games, unfortunately, but I know
How can you love it?
I love Mafia stuff. I said I haven't played the game.
Yeah, I mean,
I have I just haven't had time to go and play those. So but seeing the old country and how it is has me kind of intrigued. Fable, Little Nightmares 3.
I don't think it's hitting this year either. So
that's another reason why, because I'm not sure, but I feel like they've been hyping it so much. And
you know what they haven't been showing? Gameplay. They've just been showing like
but
CGI.
all they have to do is just like they have, they still have their like big June thing that they do. They do have the developer direct thing that they normally do in January. So that's where they could really show off a lot of it. And that's what they might be waiting for, is that they knew they have to do that. And they want to really give that game a spotlight. So why not, do it then? I think that's where we're really going to see a lot of Fable and kind of solidify that it's coming out in 2025, but there is still that chance it's going to get thrown out. Little Nightmares 3 and Reanimal Little Nightmares 3 is being made by the people still left at Bandai Namco, still making that game. And Reanimal is the Tarsier Studio people that were making Little Nightmares 1 and 2 that are at Embracer Group making that. So interesting that both those games come out this year, and because they look kind of similar to each other, how they're received. And also just wanted to start out because I don't know if it's going to come out this year, but Arm Fantasia, which is the Kickstarter game from some of the Wild Arms people, that looks cool, and it just doesn't have a firm release date, so I don't know if it's going to come. But my actual number 10 is the Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra. The Amy Hennig Skydance game with Captain America and Black Panther.
Yeah,
it looks awesome. It's made with like some high version of Unreal Engine 5, and it looks every part of that. If the narrative holds up that we know Amy Hennig can do, we know that game is going to be great. And don't know when exactly it's going to come out this year, but it's got a year listing for that. So I'm excited. Every time I've seen it, it looks better every time. So yeah,
Sure.
love it. What's your number 9 there?
That Elden Ring Rain game.
All right, fair enough.
It's kind of just low just because I'm not sure how much of it I'll play with Jens. Or I think it's like they said you can only play either like solo or with 3 people, and not 2 people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't want to play that game solo. Mm-hmm.
Why? You think you're gonna it's gonna be even more difficult? So
I just know the AI of the CPU like helpers and stuff, and it's all terrible. So
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But what's your number 9?
Number 9 for Randy is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah.
That looked cool when we got to see it. Finally at that last Nintendo Direct.
Right.
So, I'm sure that Nintendo will show off more whether it's during the Switch 2 showcase or a direct that they do without Switch 2 being included. I just think that whatever next direct you're doing, you got to show off Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And yeah, for sure. I mean, that looks awesome. It's more Metroid, and it's especially in the, who knows if they're actually going to release 2 and 3 by the time we get to that. But yeah, do you think it's for sure coming out with the Switch too, or do you think they'll release it before?
I think it'll for sure come out with Switch 2. It'll be like the Breath of the Wild situation where it's like, hey, here's a bad copy of the game because we promised it, but here's like
the only thing that makes me question if they would is because it's supposed to work on Switch 1 as well.
That's what I meant by the bad copy.
Yeah. Is that, will they, I mean, they did it obviously with Breath of the Wild, like you said, and Twilight Princess.
Yeah, the other bad. Yeah.
So it's not like it's out of the realm for them to do so. But just I wonder if they're gonna want to showcase more just only Switch 2 stuff, or if there's only gonna be a few Switch 2 things and everything else is gonna be like cross platform. So we'll see with that. Number 9 for me, as soon as I saw it at that PlayStation State of Play, even though I think we didn't talk about it too much, it still sticks in my mind because of how special, like the art style, Midnight Walk. Having the sort of like Tim Burton type art style with the claymation and the way that, yes, it's more of like an escape game and not so much of a fight game, but how we're going to be doing that and how you traverse through there and how I'm so happy to hear that it's not, because as soon as I saw it, I thought it was VR only. And then they announced that it's not going to be, and it's like, oh, great, I can actually play this game. And it's still stuck with me that I'm excited to play this whenever it actually does come out this year. Hopefully it does. And we'll see. We don't know like that much about it other than the fact of, it's heavy on the art style, heavy on the narration, all that. We'll see if they reveal more about it till we get to closer for it. What's your number 8?
Sniper Elite Resistance. Probably playing that with Jens. The Sniper Elite games are pretty all right. Got to kill more Nazis and have some like bullet time and slow motion and stuff like that. So it should be fun.
Brandon, that comes out at the end of this month, right?
Well, next month.
Okay, next month. Okay. The number 8 for Randy is Little Nightmares 3, which we already talked about. It looks cool. It looks like you're gonna have a different helper this time. And it's just gonna be interesting with the two, kind of like how close do they both come out to each other. And then this one is remnants of Tarsier Studios. It's not the actual full Tarsier Studios people. So will there be a drop off compared to the first 2 games with the Nightmares 3 when that comes? Number 8 for me is Pokemon ZA or ZA, whatever they haven't. I don't think they've officially said how they're naming this, but the fact that it's based in like the city of X and Y, but it seems to be more narrative driven even than the first, like the Arceus was. I'm just interested to see what do they do anything different than what they did with Arceus, and what's going to be special about it being set here. Or is it going to be a lot more like Arceus, or are they kind of priming us for what the next like Pokemon Gen 10 is going to be with this? Like, obviously, a lot of unknowns still with ZA, and when this is going to come out this year too. Is it going to do the normal November, or are they going to have it come out earlier? Because Arceus came out in January, the year that it came out, so it's not like it has to come out in that November timeframe like the normal Pokemon games do. So, but yeah, man, go ahead.
This is where they take a page from Pal World and they give all the Pokemon guns.
Nah. I think they will have lost the plot at that point. It'd be cool if they could do it, but then I don't think their suit would have any weight though. So
right.
What's your number 7 game?
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
All right.
That would be higher.
Would not be higher, yeah.
Yeah, but everything about that game seems not like. I'm excited for that game despite Ubisoft. Like they keep fucking it up. And I think that game is like wildly not what people want, and it's it's still too late. And yeah, I'm excited for it, but I just know it's going to be disappointing. So that's my view.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll talk about Randy's number 7 a little bit later because it's on my list as well. My number 7 is a game that's like just every time I keep seeing it, it looks so cool. Called Lost Soul Aside. It kind of looks like maybe more of an adult version of Kingdom Hearts gameplay with it's just like cool powers and like crazy monsters and stuff like that. And I want to see how it keeps evolving. Like, I don't really know too much about the narrative or whatever, but the gameplay and what you do in it looks awesome. So
instead of partnering with Disney characters, they partner with Playboy bunnies instead.
Yeah.
to the adult factor.
No, but it's definitely one that like it feels like Sony's done a lot to try to help promote as well, because they even if it's like a small trailer, they keep showing stuff for it. So yeah, it looks cool. Let's see if it comes out this year and how it holds up. What's your number 6?
It's one of the only games that we actually cross, and it's actually the same one. Like a Dragon, Pirate, Yakuza in Hell, whatever I think it's
Hawaii.
called. Yeah,
that's also Hawaii, my number 6. How interesting that we both picked the same.
But I'm excited for it because it looks more like an actual Yakuza game. Like, I don't think it'll have that turn-based gameplay. It looks more like a brawler. Yeah, looks fun.
Yeah, I've done I think like 2 write-ups on this.
I just hope the ship combat's good.
The ship combat looks good, and it's look, they're doing a lot more than Skull and Bones could do, and that was a full-on ship game,
They couldn't do less, but yeah.
The ship combat's going to be the combat. You're just doing it on the ship instead of out there in the sand or in the water.
I hope the ship has like heat actions.
Yeah. They did, they've shown off like the summons and stuff like that, which look ridiculous. And, he has 2 different fighting styles too. So that's going to make it cool for him. One uses like weapons and the other one is like kind of more like the fist style, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad that they decided to make this game and keep using the Hawaii setting. And it's like 6 months after the end of Infinite Wealth. So they somehow made the story connect to, which is, so much like RGG. I don't think that there are the Project Century. I don't think that's coming out this year, or that would have been on my list. So just in case anybody's wondering, that is why we're not talking about that, because that's probably not coming out this year, I think.
Yeah.
Randy's number 6 is Ghost of Yote.
That's my number 5. So
all right. What are you excited about Ghost of Yote?
I mean, that's what Shadow should be, I guess. Like more expansive, more historically accurate, game. I'm not like one of these guys who's like upset that you're playing as a woman. It's like, it doesn't matter really to me, but she seems like a better character, or like a more interesting character than either the Shadows characters. So
yeah, I mean, I know everybody wanted to continue Jin's story and stuff like that. But
I'm okay with not doing that, because like he kind of already won, or he like did it. So it's like, what else is there to do?
Right. It's good that you're moving on, and you can do various ghost
you go like
characters
100 years later, 100, or like you can like, there might be like a mission or two where it's like, oh, you have to find his swords or find his armor, or like stashes or something that he left around. So I'm sure he will tie into the story somehow, but and make it all about him.
Exactly. I'm sure that he'll get mentioned or somehow get put in there.
I read a book about this character, but I read a book about him, and that's what's going to incite me to do this.
Yeah, I mean, most of all, for the most part, it looks to me more interesting as well with the let's see what the gameplay improvements are. Like, did they do any better quality life improvements compared to the first game, now that they've had 5 years development for this? And I want to see what this wolf character is going to do for you and everything else. We'll see. It's one of those that's like on my, I'll see if I get it or not when it does come out, depending on what else is going on. It's just, that's the one thing that sucks about the Switch 2 like looming, is that
unlike with Shadows, also I actually do envision Yotai will come out this year.
Oh yeah,
Shadows,
I think so for sure.
I see them going like, oh, we're delaying it for another year to fix it up even further. It's like,
I feel like they can't though. Like, what else does Ubisoft have? Like, they have to put it out.
I agree, but that doesn't mean that it still won't happen, or
I could see them delaying it, maybe out of Valentine's Day or whatever, which is the release date right now. But I just cannot see them not releasing that game.
The fact that they like refunded everyone is really telling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Doom: The Dark Ages. This, from the moment I saw it, it looks freaking awesome, because it's not just going back to like the Doom we've kind of seen the last 2 games. It's like, oh, we're just going like medieval, going way back, to get into the whole Doomslayer like origin story, which is awesome. He has a shield now, so it's like you get to do the Captain America thing, and then also like rub it up like a freaking chainsaw, which is ridiculous. And the skull weapon that they've shown off, like, it just looks awesome. All the different enemies they've shown already, like, I'm just waiting for this game to come out. It's I enjoyed the first 2 reboot Dooms, and this looks like it's going to be the best one.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy those. So.
Okay, fair enough. But I mean, it's been doing awesome with these, so we'll see how that goes. What's your number 5?
No, it was Ghost of Yotai.
Oh, Ghost of Yotai. Okay, Randy had Intergalactic, which that's not coming out.
Yeah.
So. Randy has Death Stranding 2 on the beach. That's his number 4.
Right.
Is that in yours at all, or?
Nope.
Yeah, this one surprised me at all. It's a total Randy game.
I think it'll come out, but I didn't even like the first one that much. So
yes, I remember probably one of the most heated debates we ever had for Game of the Year was Marc and Randy arguing about whether Death Stranding should have won or not. And I imagine that means that, for, like you said, Death Stranding 2, he's not going to be that excited about it. Randy is super pumped. Even though I think you said this is one of the games that he's like worried it won't come in 2025. I feel like Sony's been hyping it up too much for it not to come. I don't think they would have put that much marketing muscle behind it. Had the amount of trailers they've had for it to. It was a little bit kind of worrisome they wasn't at the Game Awards, but I think it might just be that maybe they just have another plan for showing more of it or something, or maybe it's going to come like way later down the line of the year. Like maybe this is going to be like Sony's like maybe Ghost of Yotei comes out first, and this is going to wind up being Sony's like November, December game or something like that.
Same 2 games.
So, so that might be why they're kind of like withholding some more. They might have something they want to show later to kind of get people more hyped as we get closer to the release date. So, but you know, we've seen a lot of it. When the trailer we did see last time was absolutely insane. So, I imagine that any more that we see of it, people are going to kind of be like, I don't want to see more because then they're going to spoil it. So there's that as well.
That amazing story.
Number 4 for me, which is also Randy's number 7, is South of Midnight. From the moment I saw the little teaser trailer, I was super intrigued because I have history with my dad having gone to Tulane, and my family had a lot of time living in New Orleans. So there's a lot of like us caring about New Orleans, knowing some of the folklore, all that stuff. And so like that kind of, yeah.
That's the swamp game, right?
Yeah, that's the game. The swamp game.
Yeah, that's why I'm not interested. Not the swamp part, but the people making it.
Well, I know it's compulsion, but they had like that whole, and I watched the documentary as well, which that totally sold me on it. After I watched the documentary, was I think you should watch it just to to give you any kind of intrigue on the game, because they go full on everything, why they're making it, some of the gameplay stuff, and the gameplay trailer they did show with that June showcase was pretty great at kind of letting you know what the game's going to be like, and it looks like a lot of fun. Plus all of that, having a setting that you don't ever really see explored in games. So that's awesome that's happening. Number 4 for what's number?
My number 4 was Civilization 7.
I was wondering if that was going to show up on your list or not.
Yep,
for sure.
I didn't like 6 that much, but I'm hoping that 7 fixes some problems with 6, and is good.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. Randy's Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, the remake. Also not surprising. Total Randy game.
I thought about that one, and I thought I'm still not sure this is going to come out this year. So
I feel like they showed enough of it.
Yeah.
And then pushed it to this year that I feel like it's almost got now you're out of the other game that you were making. Like, Silent Hill 2 remake got the whole 9 yards push for itself. Right. Now it's like, okay, you got the whole 2025. You tell me you're not going to come out now? Like, I feel like that's definitely happening for sure. Yeah. It's coming.
Hopefully.
Hey, the trailers that they've shown for this look great. So
yeah.
I just hope it lives up to that. I mean, even though it looks like they haven't really, they're not really changing a lot, they said. So that means it'll be the same great game that it was the first time, which is never a bad thing. Speaking of a great game, we knew it was the first time. Number 3 for me is Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I've said that a bunch of times already. I was waiting for this to finally get revealed. It's finally off the Wii U purgatory. I want to see if they add any kind of quality of life improvements to it, because they haven't really said much other than the fact that it's coming. And are they going to have any kind of extra story DLC also? Because they do this with every one of the releases. They have some kind of expansion. So are they going to have an expansion for this that ties it into the greater story? Because this is the last one. And this one's not really tied to the other ones that much too. So they would have to do a lot of extra work to tie it to them. So if there's one that's right for one of those, like, give me a whole Torna style DLC, like 40-hour thing.
Yeah.
This would be it for sure. What's your number 3?
It's a better RPG series coming back, but Lunar Remastered Collection.
Yeah, I have never played it, but I've always heard great things. I'm probably will pick it up when it comes out. I just didn't want to put like remasters in
What do you
here.
think Xenoblade
But
is?
hey, Xenoblade is different. I have no way to play that game though.
That's a port job. I mean, that's less than the remaster. So
No, that's not a. They're up. They're doing stuff to that game. I feel like compared, but this is a total. They're just totally just bringing those games over. It feels like from the stuff we've seen, but that's not bad though because nobody can play those games really unless you have a Saturn or PS1 or
right.
So
And yeah, it's Lunar 1 and 2, which is the two Lunar games that you'll care about, not that BS Game Boy one.
enough.
New script, quality of life stuff. Should be good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the limited run collector's edition.
Yes, that's gonna be cool. I'm sure that they will have that. I mean, as long as they include all the stuff that was in the PS1.
No, they won't. They have they always have new stuff, but I got those too. So
Fair enough on that. Number 2 for Randy is Split Fiction. I think he talked about it when we did the Game Awards thing that he was really hyped for this. Obviously, the next game from Joseph Fares, It Takes Two, Way Out, all that. He's perfected this kind of like co-op gameplay thing, taking it to another kind of different story. And yeah, pairing sci-fi fantasy into one game and getting different games constantly that you're going to be playing with two people. This has me intrigued as well. When that comes out on March 6th, it's one of the few that has release dates. I should have mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles X also coming out March 20th. So a lot of stuff here doesn't have release dates, like Doom Settlement and all that.
Right.
So I think Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii comes out February 21st. That one does have a release date, but like almost everything else on my list does not have a release date. I don't know about yours. I think might be sort of similar.
Yep.
And then I said number 1 for Randy was Grand Theft Auto 6. What's your number 2?
It's your number 1, but that Claire Obscura
Expedition 33.
33, yeah. Which is interesting because I've read reports or read like a preview, and they called it like a dark fantasy game. This looks a lot more sci-fi than.
No, it's definitely got fantasy stuff in it. There's like they're in a freaking forest and
right.
All the monsters are fantasy type-ish, But I can see what you're saying. It has like the kind of the sci-fi type story, kind of like
right.
The narrative of this painter can go and take our at any time they can pick a year, and if you're that age, they just kill that whole anybody that's that age, which is kind of sci-fi-ish
right.
as well. I just love the fact that the combat looks amazing. It's like a next evolution of turn-based that I think might be what people want, remakes series combat to be. Like if it could really be turn-based, be something like that, where you're constantly having to be active because it's going to make you either dodge or parry or whatever. And then you're also doing the actions and things like that. So I'm going to be interested to see how. It's not a long game. Apparently, it's on the cheap. They lowered the price because it's apparently like maybe 30 hours or something like that.
What game had that? Parasite Eve 2.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting. See,
Parasite
Eve
2 was like I guess more action, but Parasite Eve 1 was very much like turn based, but also you could run around and try to like avoid attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I'm just excited and it's gonna be on Game Pass, so
right.
Gonna be cool for a lot of people to get to play that. My last game I haven't mentioned is the one that I wonder if it's actually gonna come out this year is Gears E-Day. They has a 2025 release date. I could see it coming Xbox's like late November game.
That'll be the new Emergence Day.
Yeah. Hey, this looks awesome. Getting to play as Marcus and Dom again is fantastic, and I want to see how they redo some of the the characters, and it's supposed to. It looks like it's almost like horror-ish as well. So I wonder if they add some of those elements in there too.
Yeah.
But we'll see more of it, I'm sure, at some point this year. And yeah, that's it for our most anticipated games. Oh,
my number one.
Oh, I thought you said your number one was oh no, you said that's number two is my number one. Okay. What's your number one?
Yeah. That Suikoden 1 and 2 collection.
All right. I was wondering if you were gonna put that on there. Yeah.
Probably gonna come out this year, hopefully. So
well, I think in March. I thought it had a March release date already. Or I think March is the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, at least you won't have to wait too long.
But that's another RPG franchise you should have gotten into 25 years ago and didn't, so you can finally catch up on.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. It feels like this is going to be a year for that. You keep bringing, you got Trails in the Sky first. Like I played a little bit of it, but it's on. I only have it on PC, so like I never really went too far into it. So that one I'm hoping to get into. You got Lunar, you got Suikoden.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be more that will be coming this year too. So,
Croc.
Yeah. Well, at some point. Croc.
Glover.
Yeah.
Actually, that Gex trilogy is supposed to hit this year also.
Bubsy is getting some kind of remaster thing.
Well, I actually like Gex, so I'm excited about that one, but not the
Yeah. Lots of things. And obviously we got a whole Nintendo slate of games that we got to figure out what's getting announced and all that stuff too, and what's coming before we even get the Switch 2 announcement as well. So, all right, until unless you have anything else you
wanted
to mention. All right, so we'll see y'all on the next Monday when we'll officially be in 2025. What's some of your most anticipated games of the year? Let us know, and don't forget that we also have an episode on our best games of 2024 as well, where we crown our game of the year and all that stuff. So check that out as well if you haven't already, and we'll see you later, everybody. Happy New Year.